Fiestas Patrias. Saturday's parade honors Mexican holidays. And it has deep roots here in Houston.
Viva Mexico!
And there's Victor Trevino, waving to the crowd. For more than 20 years, the constable has been the popular face of law enforcement on Houston's mostly Hispanic East Side.
I grew up in this area. I still live in this area. And I've seen the progress here.
And why wouldn't he be popular?
I said shake, rattle, and roll.
He arranges birthday songs for senior citizens.
Shake.
Sponsors Little League teams. He's even got the guy who plays Poncho Claus at Christmas on his payroll. But wait till you see what we caught his captain saying about him on hidden camera.
I'm stepping down because I know there's something ain't right.
Wait till you see the financial records 13 Undercover has uncovered. Charity money unaccounted for.
This is all done in cash,
which is even more suspect.
Records documenting the possible misuse of county equipment and deputies.
These are Harris County tax dollars at stake. And to me, this money is sacred.
Because Ana Nunez used to work for the county tax office before Victor Trevino hired her last winter. It didn't take long for her to say, wait a minute.
He was abusing public trust, abusing public dollars.
There's something very private this single mom is allowing us to share with you. She says the constable knows.
I have a brain tumor, and sorry.
Ana Nunez was laid off in July. The constable called her a budget casualty, but she's the only employee laid off in Precinct 6 this year. And it was just one day after the constable found out we were investigating. You think you were fired because they thought you were a snitch?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, then she doesn't know me. She doesn't know me because that's not what Victor Trevino has ever been about or is about or ever will be.
And so not only did he mess with my financial livelihood, that's one thing, but to mess with my life as a mother was unforgivable.
Ana did not start our investigation. Anonymous letters from Precinct 6 begged for our help. But Ana helped handle the money in this county building, and she kept great records. She's now helping us to help the deputies.
They all feared for their job. Many of them said, this is the way it is, what can we do? There's nothing we can do to change, and it is what it is.
The reason I'm here is because your deputies had to come to us to complain about the way you and your command staff were treating them, and you know it.
I believe in that right.
The evidence is overwhelming. Well, this practice was going on for years.
What you have is information. You have information that you've been given.
But you'll see the evidence in black and white. If you worked at Precinct 6, you were expected to pay up for Trevino's charity, for his campaign.
What made me upset was seeing officers having to come in on their own time, pulling out cash, their own personal checks.
The constable's defense, he's become lax.
To make anyone feel compelled or forced to volunteer or to participate in a charity is not acceptable.
Even commanders complained in emails about the constant drumbeat for money. He's killing us. Another top commander wrote, do I need to remind you who we work for?
No one has been terminated because they've said, I don't want to participate in this.
What, do you think they're stupid? You're going to be the deputy that says to your supervisor, I ain't going to give him any money.
No, we've had that.
Really?
You think it was a shakedown?
Absolutely.
Tyrone Berry is one of Victor Trevino's top commanders. He refused to talk to me, but I've got a surprise. He's now talking to our hidden camera.
Right now, everything is focused on Wayne Dill's.
Tyrone Berry pulled double duty, top police commander at Precinct 6, but also an officer of a charity called CARE, Constables Athletic, Recreational, Educational Events.
It's a charity that was formed, to serve the community, and I think we have done so.
They sponsor Little League teams.
I know.
Dreams of yesterday.
Help throw that big party for seniors every Christmas. So why did we start to care? Anonymous letters complained Captain Berry was forcing his deputies to donate. Something not right. Please help. An email from one of his sergeants quoting, "The following deputies will donate." Is that charity or coercion?
You're telling deputies they will turn in money.
And I think, again, I've become lax.
Lax at making sure his chain of command understands.
To make anyone feel compelled or forced to volunteer or to participate in a charity is not acceptable.
But on hidden camera, Berry says it was the constable who was the sole ruler of the charity. The captain says he's now resigned from CARE.
I'm stepping down because I know there's something ain't right.
2010 was a record year for CARE. More than $91,000 in donations, tens of thousands from deputies, and the business they're paid to protect on the East End. But where was all that money spent? That's the mystery.
It's shocking, the lack of documentation here and the apparent pressure the county employees were put under to perform for this charitable organization.
We showed accountant Bob Martin the charity's latest tax return.
One of the most glaring errors is the fact that they don't give the detail for the expenses.
You figure Victor Trevino would know since he signed the tax return under penalty of perjury. It lists a Precinct 6 employee named Mary Alice Williams as the charity treasurer. Just one problem. Here's her obituary. She's been dead for 2 years.
Who was the treasurer?
I don't know.
He can't even tell us who was on the required board of directors.
You were president.
We're going over this again, the fact that I should have known.
But listen to what the captain says when he doesn't know we're listening.
Reluctantly, I signed blank checks because I was instructed to do so.
I don't remember asking Captain Berry for blank checks.
If blank checks were signed, that individual may not have any idea how the money was used.
Want a chance to play detective? These two checks both show they were signed by Captain Berry. Do they look the same to you?
There's obviously differences in the signature.
If you didn't give permission, it's a forgery.
The constable, he wouldn't let us ask.
Now, I'm not ready to be able to ask them until I have, all your information so I can do a complete review.
I got this from you.
Yep.
It's not just the funny signature that caught our trained investigative eye. It's where the checks are made out to. Places like Sunrise, Handy Plus, their convenience stores. Just one check, $1,800.
You ain't buying chips and drinks, that you're cashing checks. You've done it, you've asked others to do it?
It's possible, yes.
Well, possible, yes or no?
Of course, yes.
But where did all the cash go after that? Trevino says it went to the community, but there are very few receipts.
This is the first that you ask specific questions.
That's
So
the whole idea of an interview.
I told the officer, we kind of fell out about it, but hey, if you ain't done nothing wrong, we'll keep this
There's Constable Victor Trevino.
Viva Mexico!
Waving to the crowd in last weekend's Fiestas Patrias parade. Last year, he was riding in style in this beaut, a 1931 Model A. But he can't use that one anymore.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, can you just tell me?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'm just trying to...
alone, please.
To honor her late husband's memory last year, this widow donated a $35,000 antique car to the constable's charity called CARE.
To call it my charity, I think, is also, a play with words. It's not my charity.
Pardon us, but wait a second. If it's not his charity, whose is it? Trevino is president, the founder, and doesn't know who else is on the charity's board of directors. So how did he get to use the charity's antique car as collateral for a $10,000 loan in his name?
She was upset that it was used for collateral.
And that's why the car spent this year's parade in a carport in the widow's driveway.
A big problem, because if it's truly an asset of the nonprofit organization, an individual should not be able to use that as collateral for a loan.
This loan was for CARE.
That's the charity Trevino founded to help kids and seniors in the East End.
You know a lot of folks in the East End that get interest-free loans?
I wouldn't know about that.
If you bounced a check to El Güero check cashing, guess who would come arrest you? Deputies from Victor Trevino's office. But the constable says that's not why he got his loan interest-free from the company's president. And the loan is in Trevino's name, not the charity's. And the 10 grand, it never made it into the CARE bank account.
I don't know that wasn't.
It wasn't.
Okay. Well, all that is, something we're going to have to review.
So where did all the cash go?
The records, you said it, were sloppy.
We've got a clue from an email we found in a county computer assigned to Trevino's chief deputy, Carolyn Lopez. We're not sure how she knew, but she claims 5 grand went for the seniors' Christmas gala, $1,500 more for Christmas toys. There's not a single receipt for the events. So what was the money spent on?
I don't want to get into speculating.
We do know more than $3,400 was paid in cash to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. In cash because Trevino had not paid his bills from the last rodeo. Much of the money had been spent on rodeo concert tickets, and the bill wasn't to CARE, it was to the constable.
Did you give tickets away to the rodeo this year? To kids? To schools?
It could have happened. I'd have the staff to check on that.
But why are county employees being used on duty to help run the charity that Trevino founded?
I give you my gut feeling. I know that there's some people there that handle the money. I know that.
Tonight, we have the email showing the practice went on for years, and they showed the constable was kept informed.
And I just love to work with kids, okay? And I still do it as a hobby, okay?
Former Green Beret Juan Moya loves giving back. Boxing saved him as a troubled kid. Moya ran this year's Golden Gloves boxing tournament on the East Side. The co-sponsor, you guessed it, CARE.
Have you ever seen all the expenses explaining that?
No.
And that's because the money was handled by county employees.
No one's ever raised the question to say who specifically was assigned to what.
Some of the work was clearly done on county time. This email spells out that evening roll calls will be conducted at the boxing tournament. Calls for service dispatched from there.
The rank and file handle much of the logistics.
From emails, we know more than a dozen deputies and commanders were assigned to work the boxing tournament. Some pulled from patrolling neighborhoods or from their posts at public housing projects.
We help out a lot of charity events.
On duty?
Yes.
But this event helped CARE. Timesheets show you even paid some of the employees overtime to do it. One of the biggest charity checks in the weeks that followed the boxing tournament was made out to a place called Sunrise, a convenience store where the constable used to cash checks. This check, $1,375. Again, there's no paper trail about what happened to the money after that.
All that has an aura of corruption. All that has an aura of misusing money that should be going for legitimate charitable purposes.
When Jaime Hernandez was late on his rent, he got one of these.
It's a letter to the tenant saying you're behind in your rent and you need to pay up or leave.
Landlords could simply mail the notice, but constables are allowed to deliver them on their own time, out of uniform, and not in a patrol car. But that's not what happened to Jaime.
In uniform?
In uniform.
With a precinct 6?
Yeah, with precinct 6 and the patrol car.
And the patrol car.
Receipt logs we got from Victor Trevino's office show his office delivers lots of vacate notices using uniformed deputies in patrol cars.
How much do you charge for that?
I believe it was $20.
$20, cash only. But taxpayers, you don't get the money. The constable's office does. Since January, more than $7,000 in cash delivered to Precinct 6. And there's no paper trail telling you what happened to your money.
Where'd that money go?
It was used here for the office or for the charity.
They're rolling the dice, putting their money on another Victor Trevino victory. It's been a safe bet. He's been the powerful constable on Houston's East End for 2 decades.
I couldn't end the night without coming by and thanking Constable Victor Trevino for being one of the best public servants that this nation has ever known.
To get into this party, you need one of these, a ticket. Precinct 6 employees were pressured to sell them or buy them themselves.
To me, it was kind of like they were extorted. It was extortion to me.
Former clerk Ana Nunez should know. She helped handle the money and kept really good records.
What made me upset was seeing officers having to come in on their own time, pulling out cash, their own personal checks.
Precinct 6 emails show us how it worked. The lieutenant got the tickets at the supervisor's meeting held on duty, quoting, "I will in turn forward these tickets to each housing corporal for each deputy under their command. Each deputy requested to selling 5 tickets at a cost of $30 each. That's $150 for lawmen who barely make that in an entire day's work."
I'm not proud of what happened. If it was something that was inappropriate, I'm not proud of that.
The captain sends out this email on county time about an assignment, not to keep the peace, but to keep the boss in office. Corporals are reminded that the money is due by county email, and it's not just money. Quoting, "Our division has been asked to commit to a large auction item, like a TV. Would you tell your boss no if he had total control of when you work or even if you work?"
It's a shakedown to keep your job.
When you're right, I mean, the buck stops with me, and if I become lax, I don't blame my employees, I blame myself.
Anybody that does it today that claims I made a mistake or I didn't understand it has no business in public office.
No one has been terminated because they've said, "I don't want to participate in this."
What, you think they're stupid? You're going to be the deputy that says to your supervisor, "I ain't going to give him any money"?
No, we've had that.
Really?
The constable has been a cop for decades. He knows the law.
It would be illegal for anyone in here on government equipment, on taxpayers' time, to work on your campaign.
Correct.
You know that.
Wonder if the constable gambled on us finding this.
Why do I find the contract for your casino night in the county computer?
It shouldn't be in there.
That's against the law, right? You'd agree?
It's something we need to review, definitely.
And when Trevino's office was asked to provide weekend security for someone's country club event, look at what the captain says, quoting, "You should have him to underwrite the refreshments at the casino event." You seen that email?
No, I haven't seen it.
Is that what we do here? Trade security for donations?
By no means.
Well, we're looking at it. I mean, that's all I can tell you, that we are looking at it.
Sergeant James, I have questions for you. Why don't you roll down the window and talk to us? Sergeant Tequila James doesn't want to talk to us, but her mouth may have already got her in plenty of trouble. She hosts her own internet radio show.
You have just tuned in to Keeping It Real with Tequila J on Fab Reality Radio, and I am your host.
She also supervises Precinct 6 security at Gulf Gate Mall.
For the next 90 minutes, I will be your reality bartender, and I'm going to serve you shots of realities.
Her topic for Monday, April 25th, lying.
Some people tend to lie a lot.
Look what time her show started, 8 p.m. And her studio is in her house north in Humboldt. Yet look at her county timesheet. It says she was working until 8 p.m. in Southeast Houston. Sergeant James, why don't you roll down the window and talk to us? And we've got plenty of times when Fab Diva says she's working, when her Facebook post suggests she's not.
Sounds like you caught someone slipping up pretty bad.
Trent Siebert is editor of the Houston-based Texas Watchdog.
Public records are, to us, the key of any good investigative report.
Timesheets for deputies are public records. So we wondered, which Precinct 6 commander signed off on the Diva's troubling timesheets? In many cases, no one. But Precinct 6 apparently didn't want you to know that. So after we asked to see the records, a sergeant named B.J. Yother just changed them.
Official government records are sacrosanct. You can't alter a public record. That is a real problem.
Don't you feel better knowing that Sergeant Yother and simply Fab Diva Sergeant James are part of that elite squad of investigators chosen by Constable Trevino to probe possible wrongdoing in Precinct 6? That internal review Trevino promised the public 3 months ago.
This is the first that you ask specific questions.
That's the whole idea of an interview.
The constable's not talking to 13 Undercover anymore. His criminal defense lawyer is.
I haven't seen any credible evidence that the constable was either through turning his head or through directing folks to, shake down the deputies for political contributions.
Tonight, the constable's lawyer suggests Trevino simply didn't know that his commanders were working on his campaign on duty, even if some of those troubling emails were copied to Trevino.
In all candor, it was only a few years ago that Victor Trevino even learned how to open an email.
The DA's office is investigating CARE, the charity the constable founded. Lots of the charity's checks were cashed at convenience stores, large amounts. And we've learned the investigation now includes a review of Louisiana casino records.
There were not lavish expenditures. The constable didn't wager a lot of money, and I think the DA's office will see that.
Promises, promises.
As to the past, what was happening in the past, that's under review. To answer it right now would be premature.
Remember, Victor Trevino promised you a full investigation of possible widespread misconduct in his office. That was 5 months ago, Constable. Where is it? We do know the Constable has not gotten a single sworn statement from any of his highest-ranking commanders. And he won't give us critical bank records from the charity he founded. We've been asking for months.
Where's the hey, you can't do this?
Coming soon on Channel 13 Eyewitness News will be an answer to that question.
Tough talk then, but where is the county attorney's office now? When Vince Ryan wanted the job back in 2008, he told the Chronicle, what the county needs now is a group of watchdogs, not lapdogs. Is his bark worse than his bite?
Wayne, based on what you found, this isn't a watchdog. This is a lapdog.
Well, a watchdog who bites the person as they're running out the door is not as good as the watchdog that prevents somebody coming in the door.
There was no hint of favoritism.
that we don't put up with this stuff, whether it's our friends or our enemies, that we place stuff right down the middle of the bowling alley.
But what if taxpayers knew the guys in charge of investigating Victor Trevino had such strong feelings for him? You gotta love YouTube. And the heartfelt words we found in a speech last year.
I can say this as a person who's known him in politics as well in his government service, is that I can speak on behalf of Vince and me. Victor, we truly love you. It's a joy to introduce you. Thank you.
What kind of investigation can come of that? The guy investigating you tells you he's in love.
I can speak on behalf of Vince and me. Victor, we truly love you. It's a joy to introduce you. Thank you.
How are you going to get a fair shake? How are taxpayers going to get a fair shake? The answer is they're not.
Tonight we've learned the county attorney's office hasn't tried to get a single sworn statement from any Precinct 6 employee.
Have we recommended disciplining anyone?
Not directly, no.
Even after the county attorney's office knew a supervisor at Precinct 6 actually changed timesheets after we asked to see them.
Have you asked the auditor's office to conduct a review of timesheet practices at any constable's office?
Have we, Doug?
The answer from his staff, clearly no.
Got it.
Well, I mean, well.
It looks like a deliberate, slow walking of an investigation. It looks like they don't want this to be investigated. It looks like they want it to go away.
The county attorney's office has the power under state law to try and remove them for incompetence or misconduct.
Not as of today. We do not have any plans because each of the constables has been very cooperative.
So the two officials now supposedly spearheading this constable investigation are the county attorney Vince Ryan and the DA Pat Lykos. And that's Constable Trevino in the photo between them. We found the picture on VoteVinceRyan.com.
This is something out of old-time Louisiana. This is not how a professional law enforcement agency should be run.
Well, thank y'all for being here because I wanted to make an announcement that it won't be business as usual here at Precinct 6.
It was July 2011. This was damage control.
It's always been my intent to continue to serve the community as we've done, and we've done a great job.
The charity Constable Victor Trevino had founded was in trouble. It had been operating out of the county's East End courthouse for years, often using on-duty county employees. Under state law, the public had a right to see the records, but the constable, he was resisting.
Let's make a deal.
I'm not here to make a deal.
Okay, well then fine.
Okay.
Well, here's what I want.
Okay.
How about that? Okay.
Well, I'm not here also just to give you what you want.
We've never gotten all the financial records, and we've been asking for months. But we can tell you that some of the care money had been spent on East End Little League teams and senior parties. But when we investigated closer, we found a lot of the money was traced back to convenience stores. Large charity checks turned into cash.
It could be that this money was used for personal benefit to someone. We have no way to trace it back. This is totally unsatisfactory the way they've done this.
Thousands of dollars donated from the community, and there were virtually no receipts to tell us what happened to all that money.
All that has an aura of, misusing money that should be going for legitimate charitable purposes.
When 13 Undercover brought it all to light last summer, the constable promised big changes, a new charity board, a thorough review.
This is part of our review.
What is?
All the documents that have to do with care that you've requested.
But now we know that review never happened, and CARE's new president now says the charity is finished. Under advisement of counsel, he told us, we as a board have voted to dissolve CARE and have resigned as a board.